two people hitting a little white ball back and forth as hard as they can until one finally gets the advantage and wins the point, you are watching the super fun sport, ping pong, being played. I assume most of you have played ping pong at least once in your life, or you've seen other people play it. You probably realize it is much harder than it looks. At first, ping pong will be hard for any beginner, but the more you play it and practice it will cause you to become better, and it will become more fun. Ping pong is like tennis or golf. It is able to be played throughout your entire life. I've been playing ping pong since I was 5 years old, when my dad decided to play with me for the first time. Now I play it with my family and friends whenever I can. During this demonstration, I will show all of you how a table tennis net should be correctly set up, how to hit a backhand and a forehand, and how to serve in 3 different ways. Every ping pong table needs a net which is set up properly. I'll now show all of you how to correctly set up a net. How a net is set up greatly affects the game. You don't want the net to be too high or too low. You want it about like 6 inches high, and then you want it to be taut but not tight, but you also don't want it loose. So first you're going to want to make sure your 2 stanchions are attached in line with each other on the table, which they are right now. Usually you want them in the middle of the table like this, but this is kind of a crappy table, so you can't really do that. And so once they're in line, you just take the net and stretch it over one stanchion, and then you'll just put it over the other stanchion just like this. And then you can see that it's pretty straight. My net's kind of wrinkled, that's just how it is. And then if one side's a little higher than the other, you just want to adjust it like that. Once the table tennis net is set up, it is time to play. I'll now show all of you how to hit a backhand and a forehand. So, to hit a normal backhand, you're going to want to grip the paddle like this. You can have 2 fingers on the paddle or 1 or none. It's just based on comfort. You want to hold the paddle about perpendicular with the table, maybe tilt it back a little bit so the ball just flies better. And then you're going to want to strike the ball straight on like that, not following through at all. Just go straight on like this. So that's just a beginner's backhand. But when I use my backhand, I like to curve it, and there's 3 different ways you can curve it. One way you can curve it is by putting topspin on it. To put topspin on the ball, you'll strike the ball on the very top like this, and then you'll follow through to the side because that's just the natural way to follow through, and it would look like that. So there was more topspin on the ball, and it goes faster, and the ball won't fly off the table because it's going to go down once you hit it. And then the other ways to curve it is by curving it to the right or the left. I like to curve it to the right because I'm right-handed and it's easier. To do that, I'll just hold the ball to my left side and bring my paddle through like this and flick my wrist. So that would just look like this. And the ball curves a little more. And then to curve it to the left, it's like the reverse. The ball would be over here on my right side, and I'll have my paddle on my left, and I just bring it like that, and the ball curves. In table tennis, there's also the forehand. You don't need to know how to do this, but if you want to become a good player, you should definitely know how. So a forehand grip is pretty much the same as a backhand, but all you want to do is just flip it out, and you can have your fingers however you want. And on any forehand, you want top spin so the ball doesn't fly on you and not land on the other side of the table. So when you do it, you want to have the ball right around here and just bring your paddle, hit it, and then follow through like that. And it looks like this. And that's just a easy forehand. And the forehand is nice because it puts pace on the ball, which makes it harder for your opponent to return. And it's also just good to use. I used to be terrible at it, but I've gotten better just by playing. The last skill you will need to know is how to serve. Getting the point started is the most important part of the game. There are many different ways to serve. The first way to serve is the beginner's serve. This isn't the correct way, but I will just show you because you're all beginners, or most of you are. You'll just bounce the ball once, and hit it like a backhand, just like that. But that's not the correct way. The correct way to serve is you want to drop the ball, hit it off your paddle, have it bounce once on your side and once on the other side, and that would just look like this. And it's basically just a forehand, but you feed it to yourself. The way I like to serve is by putting side spin on the ball, which to do that, I'll hold the ball out in front of me like this and hold my paddle to the side right on my waist like this, and bring the paddle in and just strike the ball like this, causing it to curve, and that'll look like this. And it puts side spin on it, and I can hit the ball a little harder. And then the third way to serve is by putting slice on the ball. To put slice on the ball, you'll hit it on the bottom of the ball, causing it to backspin, which makes it harder for your opponent to return if they're standing far back, and that would look like this. And it just gets over the net like that. To be able to play the game of ping pong, you must be able to serve as well as you hit the normal strokes. During this demonstration, I showed all of you how to set up a ping pong net, how to hit a backhand and a forehand, and how to serve in 3 different ways. Ping pong is a sport like no other. It can be played inside or outside, which is great here in Minnesota. I hope all of you take my advice and pick up ping pong as a fun hobby for the rest of your life. Thank you.